In a sensational twist in the world of Formula One, Daniel Ricciardo has made a triumphant return to the grid. Red Bull Racing, known for its bold and strategic moves, has made the decision to replace struggling driver Nyck De Vries with the Australian ace at their sister team Alpha Tauri. However, this unexpected comeback raises questions about the future of Sergio Perez and his position within Red Bull. What does Ricciardo's return mean for Perez? Let's find out. The Formula One world has been left reeling as Nyck De Vries, the highly regarded Dutch driver, has been unceremoniously ousted from the grid. The decision, coming after just 10 races and before the mid-season break, has left many stunned and questioning the fairness of the move, especially considering the challenging circumstances De Vries faced in his debut season. One cannot overlook the daunting task De Vries was presented with. The 2023 Alpha Tauri car itself was far from a competitive machine. Even team principal Franz Tost openly criticised his own engineers, expressing a lack of trust in their ability to deliver a capable car. The team's struggles were evident as insufficient downforce plagued the car, resulting in instability during braking, overheating of the rear tyres, compromised apex performance, and poor traction, a perfect storm of factors hindering a competitive lap time. However, De Vries faced an even higher bar than the average rookie due to his impressive track record in the world of motorsport. As a multiple junior champion, a Formula E World Champion, and a winner in sports cars, including the World Endurance Championship LMP2 class, expectations were understandably high. Furthermore, his commendable points finish at the 2022 Italian Grand Prix, standing in for a sick Alex Albon, demonstrated his potential to deliver under pressure. Despite the favourable circumstances that day, the Dutch driver secured points. Yet, that high bar set for De Vries ultimately became a double-edged sword. When compared to his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, De Vries consistently found himself on the losing end. Tsunoda outperformed him in 8 out of 10 qualifying sessions and prevailed in 8 out of 10 races, where both drivers crossed the finish line, including sprint races. Although De Vries' average qualifying deficit of 0.252 seconds doesn't appear disastrous, it fails to account for his subpar performances in Azerbaijan, where he failed to set a representative time. Notably, his qualifying performance in Spain, where he outpaced Tsunoda due to the latter's track limits infringement, provided a glimpse of his potential. However, the lack of meaningful improvement in De Vries' pace relative to his teammate was a cause for concern. Detailed analysis reveals that his qualifying gap remained relatively stagnant, with an underwhelming gain of just 0.01 seconds per weekend. While Tsunoda's progress this season has been recognised and praised, it's clear that his skill level alone cannot excuse De Vries' lacklustre performances. As a result, the axe has fallen, and De Vries finds himself without a seat on the grid. While De Vries' departure undoubtedly raises questions and sparks debate, it also opens the door for the highly anticipated return of Daniel Ricciardo, whose previous successes and experience make him a formidable addition to Alpha Tauri. Ricciardo, who previously raced for Red Bull Racing from 2014 to 2018 before his stints at Renault and McLaren, found himself out of a drive due to underperformance at McLaren. However, the Australian's fortunes took a dramatic turn when Red Bull decided to sign him as a third and reserve driver for the 2023 season. Little did anyone know that this opportunity would ultimately lead to a remarkable comeback. Initially, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner had insisted that Ricciardo's role would be limited to that of a test driver, but fate had other plans. Ricciardo seized the opportunity to prove his worth when he was called upon to conduct a Pirelli tyre test at Silverstone following the British Grand Prix. His impressive performance during the test did not go unnoticed, catching the attention of the Red Bull hierarchy. Recognizing the immense talent and experience Ricciardo possesses, Red Bull made the decision to loan him to their sister team Alpha Tauri for the remainder of the season. This move is seen as a win-win situation, with Alpha Tauri benefiting from Ricciardo's invaluable skills, while the Australian driver gets a second chance to revive his Formula One career. Franz Tost, Scuderia Alpha Tauri team principal, expressed his delight at having Ricciardo back in the fold, emphasizing his unquestionable driving abilities and the seamless integration that can be expected. Tost also acknowledged the contributions made by Nyck De Vries during his time with the team, expressing gratitude and wishing him success in his future endeavours. A smiling Ricciardo, who had hinted at being ready mentally for a return to F1 after a few months out of racing, summed up his return with these words: "I am stoked to be back on the track with the Red Bull family." The return of Daniel Ricciardo to the Formula One grid with Alpha Tauri has stirred up discussions about his aspirations to rejoin Red Bull racing. Undoubtedly, any conversation surrounding Red Bull's driver lineup and Ricciardo's prospects inevitably involves Sergio Perez. Unfortunately for Perez, the timing of Ricciardo's comeback couldn't be worse, given Perez's recent struggles. Perez has encountered a string of disappointments, failing to make it to Q3 for 5 consecutive races. Meanwhile, his teammate Verstappen continues to dominate in the same car, further exacerbating the contrast in their performances. Perez's recent qualifying setbacks have been particularly disheartening, as he committed 3 track limit offences in Q2 during the Austrian Grand Prix, nullifying all 3 of his laps and relegating him to a 15th place start. In Britain, he faltered again, getting knocked out in Q1 after a lackluster one-lap shootout following a red flag. Red Bull's frustration with Perez's underperformance became apparent in Austria, signalling a departure from their previous nonchalant approach to his struggles. Despite these setbacks, Red Bull Racing's team principal Christian Horner adamantly dismissed suggestions that Perez could be replaced, emphasizing that the Mexican driver is under contract for the following season. Horner further expressed his unwavering support for Perez during the British Grand Prix weekend, stating that the team is providing him with the necessary assistance and encouragement to help him regain his form. Recognizing Perez's potential and the belief in his abilities, Horner affirmed that they are committed to working with him, aiming to expedite his return to competitiveness. Perez, while facing speculation about his future and the potential arrival of Ricciardo, remains unfazed and focused on turning his season around. With 13 years of Formula One experience under his belt, he has weathered similar situations before. Perez said, "I couldn't care less, if I'm honest about that. I've been in Formula One for 13 years and I've seen it all. I'm not worried about any of that. And I'm mainly focused on getting my season on track and making sure I keep enjoying this. I have full support from Helmut, Marco and Christian. The whole team is fully backing me, and they know what I can do. They know my potential and they are fully behind me." And Ricciardo will inevitably see Perez's ongoing struggles as the potential prizing open of the door to a Red Bull Racing seat again. That is the only reason he will have accepted an AlphaTauri drive in the middle of this season. The intention will be to prove to Red Bull that Ricciardo's McLaren struggles were exactly that, McLaren struggles. If he performs well against Yuki Tsunoda, it will go a long way to showing Ricciardo can be the force he once was. Getting back on the grid is the best way to make that case, but AlphaTauri is nothing more than a means to an end. For Ricciardo, the ultimate goal is clear, reclaiming a Red Bull Racing cockpit. He sees it as the final chapter of his career, a fairy tale ending. This ambition is evident in his decision to accept a drive at AlphaTauri. Despite the team's current position at the bottom of the championship standings, the connection to Red Bull Racing is what makes this opportunity enticing for Ricciardo. The language used in Red Bull Racing's press release further emphasizes the temporary nature of Ricciardo's move. He is described as being on loan to AlphaTauri, a point reiterated by team boss Christian Horner. It is evident that this move is not a long-term solution. It may not even be more than 6 months. This is just the first step of Daniel Ricciardo's comeback. We won't have to wait long to find out how far it's destined to go. As the Formula One season progresses, all eyes will be on Ricciardo and Perez. Their performances will shape the narrative surrounding Red Bull's driver lineup, with the ultimate question being whether Ricciardo can secure that coveted second seat at the top team. Would Ricciardo get to replace Perez at Red Bull next season? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.